Okay. Okay, so today we will start from knowledge management. Okay, so in this unit, you will going to learn about introduction of knowledge management. That is, what is knowledge management, then different challenges of knowledge management, and forces that driving knowledge management. Then understanding the knowledge or the nature of knowledge, and understanding the concept of data, information, and knowledge expertise. Then types of knowledge and human thinking and learning. Okay, so in this unit we will going to learn all these things. Okay, and the textbooks regarding this subject knowledge management is available in a library, so you can contact to a librarian and you can issue all these reference books from the library. Okay, so in this course you will going to learn, or the aims or objectives of this course are providing an understanding of the concepts of information knowledge and their management, then give an overview of available tools for managing both information and knowledge. So in order to it will make you understand the needs of an actual organization and accordingly build action plans for its information and knowledge management. So at the end of this course, or during this course, you will going to learn all these tools, and we can say all the concepts of knowledge management. Okay, so why the current interest in knowledge management? You will surely have this question in your mind during learning this course. So knowledge is at the heart of much of today's global economy, and managing knowledge has become vital to companies' success. So this transformation from a world largely dominated by physical resources to a world dominated by knowledge implies a shift in the lotus of economic power, as profound as that which occurred at the time of the Industrial Revolution. Okay, so according to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, India is a nation endowed with natural and competitive advantages, as also certain distinctive competencies, but these are scattered in isolated pockets, and the awareness on these is inadequate. So, during the last century, the world has undergone it changes from agriculture society, where the natural labor was the critical factor, to industrial society, where the management of technology. Okay, so the capital and labor provided the competitive advantage. So in the 21st century, a new society is emerging where the knowledge is primary production resource instead of capital and labor. So efficient utilization of this existing knowledge can create comprehensive wealth of the nation in the form of better health, better education, and better infrastructure, and other social indicators. So, such a knowledge society has two very important components driven by the societal transformation and wealth generation. Uh, so, the societal transformation is built on education, healthcare, and we can say agriculture and governance. So these will have to lead to employment generation, high productivity, and rural prosperity. Okay, so the wealth generation is a very important task for the nation, which has to be woven around national competencies. So the task team has identified core areas uh, that will separate or march towards knowledge society. So the areas are information and communication technology, then biotechnology, weather forecasting, disaster management, telemedicine, and teleeducation, then technologies to produce native knowledge products, then service sectors, and uh, we can say infotainment, which is the emerging area resulting from convergence of information and entertainment. Okay, so it means infotainment. So these core technologies are fortunately can be interwoven by IT, or we can say by information technology. So IT took off only due to enterprising spirits of the young. So thus there are multiple technologies and management structure that have to work together to generate knowledge society. Okay. So the core, we can say, vision, mission, and goals of these, uh, or the core strength of the India is natural and human resources. That is, vast coastlines and large young population can be transformed through knowledge intensive institutions. Okay, so the core strength of nation have to be coupled to the desired goals. The nation's strength uh, predominantly reside in its natural and human resources. In natural resources, India is endowed with a vast coastline with marine resources and also oil wealth. In minerals, apart from conventional material resources, India has vast amounts of bauxite, iron ore, especially thorium, which can be used for power generation. So, in ancient, knowledge is a unique resource of India, for it has the treasure of a minimum of 5,000 years of civilization. So, it is essential to leverage this wealth for national well-being, as well as to seek global presence for the nation. So human resources, particularly with large young population, are unique core strength of the nation. So these resources can be transformed through various educational and training programs. So the skilled, unskilled, and creative manpower can be transformed into wealth generators, particularly in the service sector or in the agro industries. So, knowledge intensive industries can be generated out of our existing industries by injecting demand for high level software or hardware, which would bring tremendous value addition. So with globalization, this will become more important because everybody will have access to world class technology, and the key distinguishing features will be the ability of people in different countries to use their imagination to make the best use of the technology. So indeed, development and innovation, use of multiple technologies with transparent management structure and coupled with information technology will catapult India into a knowledge superpower. So, change in empowerment pattern or agriculture, industry, and service knowledge industries would transform India into a financial superpower. Okay, so this is the evaluation of knowledge society from the ancient 5,000 years. Okay, so if we go through the uh, knowledge index, the national knowledge index, that is NKI, refers to a performance monitor that measures current performance and future progress on key knowledge parameters. So the NKI can also be used to benchmark against other developed nations and competitor countries like China, Israel, uh, and the developed world. The NKI works as indicator or metrics of national knowledge performance use or indicator of current performance, or it provides parameters for comparison with benchmarking countries, and also it measures measure of performance improvement across timeline. It has some metrics, and as metrics to monitor and improve knowledge management in governance, also indicators which provides transparency to both Indian citizens as well as potential external investors, and work as a tool for marketing India's competitive advantages of foreign direct investment and international economic agencies. So the national knowledge commission, based on the objectives and agenda of the commission, will decide the key knowledge areas. So the NKI should potentially meet some objectives like highlight the challenges and opportunities presented by the future knowledge society, and to understand and monitor India's performance in its evaluation as a knowledge society, and both nationally and internationally. So uh, that's why the knowledge national knowledge index, that is NKI, is uh, works on the knowledge management for the industry. So as per the knowledge national knowledge index, India should measure the following aspects. Okay, so overall performance of the economy, so it includes GDP per capita, GDP growth, human development index, poverty index, or unemployment rate, then employment in industry or in service sector, then value added in industry, value added in agriculture, and income distribution, etc. Then it also includes trade as percent of GDP. So the government budget as percent of GDP. Then tarific and non-tarific barriers. Then intellectual property protection, that is IPR, and patents. Then soundness of banks, then export as percent of GDP, interest rate spread, then high technology export, trade surplus, annual growth in export uh, concentration index, then export growth from world demands. So these are the economic regimes. Okay, so these all are the aspects of a knowledge economy. Then governance, the innovative systems, and we can say human capital, which refers to a combined knowledge, then skills, of humans. Okay, so also ICT and infrastructure are also the aspects of knowledge economy, and this refers to cooperation and the flow of knowledge required structural we can say intellectual assets, that is information systems, hardware, software, then databases, then laboratories, and an organizational or national infrastructure and management focus that can sustain the amplify the output of human capital. Okay, so all these aspects are major in NKI. Okay, so all this is about the we can say evaluation or introduction of knowledge management and knowledge. So I think you are clear with the we can say foundation of knowledge and knowledge management, or the history of knowledge and knowledge management. So now moving to the core part, that is knowledge and knowledge management. So students, uh, can you just reply me what is knowledge? Yes, anyone can answer. What is knowledge? Yes, yes, anyone? Okay, so moving to the next, that is what is knowledge management? So knowledge management is simply be the define as doing what is needed to get the most out of knowledge resources. Okay, so knowledge is nothing but the raw information about something. Okay, so this knowledge have some knowledge resources from which you will get the knowledge, and uh, the knowledge management is doing what is needed to get the most out of knowledge resources. Okay, so in general, knowledge management focuses on organizing and making available important knowledge wherever and whenever it is needed. And knowledge management is also related to the concept of intellectual capital, and composed of both human and structural capital. So the uh, So, the definition of knowledge management contains some integral parts, that is, using accessible knowledge from outside sources, then embedding and storing knowledge in business processes, then products and services, then representing knowledge in databases and documents, then promoting knowledge growth through the organization's values, ethics, practices, and incentives, and transferring and sharing knowledge throughout the organization, then accessing the value of knowledge assets and impact on a regular basis. So simply the definition and understanding of knowledge management is difficult. So as different perspectives yield different meanings. So the knowledge management in simple word is the manage of knowledge. Okay. So knowledge management is that process and phenomenon which entrances their ability to facilitate learning and learn relevant concepts effectively through better management information in right context. Okay, so simply the knowledge management is like this. So, the concept of learning is closely associated with knowledge, and the learning organization cares for knowledge management. So, it is also the process of individual and organizational learning. So, at the individual level, learning of ideas and concepts take place. So, whereas the organization should facilitate and manage learning and its outcomes. Okay, that is knowledge as well. So this perspective is taken forward by scholars, and when they define knowledge management as a systematic leveraging of information and expertise to improve organizational innovations and responsiveness, productivity, and competence. So this refers to knowledge processing, knowledge domains, and knowledge formalities. So in other words, it is a process of knowledge creation, validation, then presentation, distribution, and applications. So the advance in technology made possible the e-learning as a vehicle to deliver the knowledge in digital age. So the technology infrastructure thus enables electronic encoding and exchanging of knowledge. So so some peoples or some authors link this to organizational knowledge management system to enhance organizational learning through facilitating of knowledge exchange and sharing. So the perspectives based on practices of knowledge management are different in various part of the world. So, for example, in the US, knowledge management processes use information technology, while in Europe, knowledge management is understood as managing intellectual capital and knowledge attached to the organization. So, the holistic approach of knowledge management could be seen in the practices in Japan. So, where more emphasizes in placed on knowledge systems are thus common to all these perspectives, and there is a view that is that it would be practically impossible to implement certain key components of knowledge management systems without IT. So this is the view of Japanese, we can say, knowledge workers. So, from the HR perspective, knowledge management is the process by which the organization generates wealth from its intellectual and knowledge based assets. So, it is claimed that people should be a key driver of knowledge management, and knowledge management evolved from human resource management using information technology as a supporting mechanism in a human interaction and collaboration process. So the daily task of human resource development is building of a knowledge base and learning organization. So knowledge is a fluid mix of frame experience, values, and contextual information and expert insight that will provides a framework from evaluating and incorporating new experiences and information. So it often becomes embedded not only in documents or responderies, but also in organizational routines, processes and practices. Also we can say organizational norms. So thus it would appear that although all the, we can say, researchers or all the countries, they're working and the definitions of knowledge and knowledge management or the perspectives are different. Okay, so in daily, or we can say in general life, we define knowledge as understanding or gain through experience or by study. Yes, right. So it is know how or the uh, familiarly with how to do something that enables a person to perform a specialized task or the specialized work. So it may also when accumulations of factors or also there are some procedural rules are there. Okay, or we can say also there are some facts from which we gain the knowledge from different three things. Okay, so moving to the next, that is why knowledge management, or why knowledge management is important in the organization, or the importance of knowledge management, or also we can say scope and significance of knowledge management. Okay, so sharing a knowledge, a company creates uh, exponential benefits from the knowledge as people learn from it. Also it helps in building better sensitivity to brain drain, and it reacting instantly to new business opportunities and ensuring successful, we can say, partnering and core competencies with suppliers, then vendors, different customers and other constituents. And it also shortens the learning curve, right? So that's why the knowledge management is important. So as a new word for the consumer in today's market, uh, prosumer refers to the consumer who is no longer in the passive market where goods are offered at the exact face value. So prosumers are more educated consumers. Okay, and they demand more. So they provide feedback of manufacturers regarding the designing of products and services from a consumer perspective. Right, we are also did this in the daily routine or the daily, we can say, life. You also provide us the feedback on lectures, on seminars, on events which are conducted by the institute or by the faculties. Okay, so this has initiated new and radical changes in the business world. So, even with recent technology developments such as networking, email, and the web, business knowledge management has already demonstrated a number of benefits and has offered justification for further implementation. So the internet facilitated its development and growth via fast and timely sharing of knowledge. By sharing knowledge, an organization creates exponential benefits from the knowledge as people learn from it. So, this makes business processes faster and more effective and empowers employees in a unique way. For example, Microsoft's Hotmail service advanced the wide use of email that allowed users to exchange information through any web browser. So, today's web based interface is the norm for most internet service providers. Okay, so based on a number of publication studies, knowledge management has had a positive impact on business processes. The goal is to capture the tactic knowledge required by business process and encourages knowledge workers to share and communicate knowledge with their peers or with colleagues. Okay, so with such knowledge, it is easier to determine which processes are more effective or less effective than others. So, the main constraint in knowledge management is initially capturing it or initially capturing the knowledge. However, if an organization can succeed in capturing and dispersing knowledge, the benefits are endless, right? So, a company can leverage and more fully utilize intellectual assets. It can also position itself in responding quickly to customers and creating new market and rapidly developing new products and dominating emergent technologies. So the another benefit of knowledge management is the intangible returns of knowledge sharing rather than knowledge holding. So too often employees in one part of a business start from scratch on a project because of knowledge needed in somewhere else but not known to them. Okay, so as a result of knowledge management, system has been developed to gather, organize, or we can say refine and distribute knowledge throughout the business. So in this, okay, so in this current business market, we can say the knowledge management is a very important aspect for the business opportunities and for the business growth, right? Okay, so